This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright.
Welcome, everyone, to the 23rd Annual Power of Pink. 23 times we have been here recognizing the importance of breast cancer. Give yourselves a hand. The 23rd Annual Power of Pink Luncheon presented by Brookshire Brothers, and once again we thank Brookshire Brothers for their incredible support of this event. I'm Dr. Sid Roberts, and I'm the Medical Director and Radiation Oncologist at the Temple Cancer Center at CHI St. Luke's Health Memorial. We're thrilled you've chosen to spend the lunch hour with us today as we call attention to one of the most common forms of cancer, breast cancer. We have an incredible program for you today, but I would like to begin by introducing you to Mr. Jay Gilchrist, the Vice President of Mission Integration at CHI St. Luke's Health Memorial. Jay is going to provide us with a short reflection and our invocation. Jay.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. What a sea of pink we have here. I'm very, very impressed. I'm kind of new in town, but I was talking to some of the ladies at the entry, and, you know, why do you come? Why do you keep coming back, I asked, and they said, it's fun. They said, it's the camaraderie. It's the support that we get from one another. There's one woman I met who's a cancer survivor who has a shirt on that says, Together in Hope. That's what we're all in together, right? And us men are in support. Most of us, I think, are wearing our pink. Right? Okay. And I decided to wear some blue, too, because some people say that's a man color, a boy color, but we're all wrapped up in this together, and we're supporting you all in your journey. We're strong for each other in hope. I'd like to share a story that brings me strength and inspiration ever since I read it in high school, years and years ago. It's the story of Mr. Blue. It's a story from the Roaring '20s. And no, I didn't go to high school in the Roaring '20s, although I think I did when it was closer to then than it is to now, if you know what I'm saying. Well, Mr. Blue lives on the rooftop of a tall building in a crate that displays a sign that just says, hope. Mr. Blue's lifestyle is one of wild freedom and total imagination. One day he's flying a kite from his skyscraper. One day he's writing a letter thanking God for the beauty of the heavens above. At one point in the story, he inherits $2 million and lives in luxury for a while. But soon he gives away his fortune and moves into the streets and cares for the homeless. Everything that Mr. Blue does is in the joy of the present moment. He gestures wildly, he flies kites, he loves marching music, he delights in color, the brighter the better. He thinks of money only as something to give away quickly and extravagantly so that he can be without it. There is no middle ground. He's a friend to all, and he goes all in for joy and life. And he dies in selfless love, saving a sick, homeless man from an oncoming truck. Mr. Blue was the true wild child of the jazz age. The book was written in the 1920s. It's a Christian answer to The Great Gatsby. Most of us know how that story turned out, after a reckless wreck of another sort. I'd like to share with you, in that spirit of hope and togetherness, some of my favorite Mr. Blue-isms, shared with the narrator of his story. Life gives you pretty much what you give it. She gives beauty to those who try to add to her beauty. She gives happiness to those who share their happiness with her. If we love anything, truth or beauty, a man or a woman or life, we will speak out. Genuine love cannot endure silence. Genuine love breaks out into speech. And when it is great love, it breaks out into song. Our speaking out and our singing out, both are great privileges. They help us to find out what we think. They divide the tension of our grief. With a little care, they become great blessings, grace flowing upon grace. That's the blessing you are all to me today. That's the blessing you are all to each other. We praise and thank God for that. My prayer for us all today is that we won't be afraid to speak out to one another, to speak to those close to us. And let's sing out with joy for life. There's enough grief, enough gloom. Sometimes those things are so great that we forget the joyful things. Let's go for another state of mind. Let's go for a crazier kind of sanity, just like Mr. Blue. Let's draw strength from the art of loving one another as we share our story, our song, our laughter. When we go all in for life, anything is possible, according to the motto of Mr. Blue. And like the angel Gabriel said to Mary in the Gospel of Luke, nothing shall be impossible with God. Let's turn to our God in prayer. Thank you, God, for that promise, for that hope that nothing is impossible with you. We cast all of our cares, all of our hopes on you. We know that you love us so very, very much. We ask that you bless this gathering. There's so much love in this room that may it radiate in the lives of everyone we touch. Help us to be companions on the journey in support, in hope for one another. Bless our food, bless our fellowship, bless our day and our whole lives. In our Lord Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you, Jay. Power of Pink would not be possible without the support of our generous sponsors. Thanks to their ongoing commitment, CHI St. Luke's Health Memorial is able to offer charitable support to women in need fighting breast cancer while undergoing treatment at the Temple Cancer Center. Assistance can be in the form of gas vouchers, prescription assistance, and even overnight lodging at the Joe W. Elliott House. Our sponsors' ongoing support for this luncheon has also given us the opportunity to provide life-saving information and motivate women to take control of their health. In fact, we hear from women every year who decide to get a mammogram after attending Power of Pink. As you can see, our sponsors are lifesavers in more ways than one. So please join me in thanking this year's contributors. The list is quite lengthy, but we want our sponsors to know how much they are appreciated, so you can hold your applause until I finish recognizing them. Our sponsors, our presenting sponsor is Brookshire Brothers, Swain Baldwin Insurance, GE Oil and Gas, First Bank and Trust East Texas, Alexander Langford and Hires, Southland Federal Credit Union, Gibson Funeral Home, Dr. David Price of East Texas Urology, Consolidated Communications, Angelina Surgical Associates, Abelt's Pharmacy, Hospice in the Pines, Texas State Bank, Dr. Taylor McEwen, East Texas Hematology and Oncology Clinic, East Texas Asphalt, Citizens National Bank, Lufkin Coca-Cola, Soundtex, Quick Copy, the City of Lufkin, Studio 319, Aileen's Florist, Beard's Jewelers, and Lufkin Jewelry on the Square. Join me in thanking these local businesses for their continued support. On behalf of the Temple Cancer Center, I also extend my sincere appreciation to each of you here today for making a difference in the lives of local cancer patients. By purchasing a ticket to this event, you too have helped hundreds of patients pay for their medications, transportation to and from treatment center, and overnight lodging. So give yourselves a round of applause. I'd now like to introduce our Chief Operating Officer and the Lufkin President for CHI St. Luke's Health Memorial, Mr. Sean Barnett.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a great turnout. This is my second year in a row to do this, and I have to say it looks bigger than it did last year, so thanks for coming. First thing I would like to do is introduce some dignitaries that are in attendance. If you would stand as I call your name, and then we'll applause at the end. Jim Johnson, our new president of the Angelina Chamber of Commerce. Bob Brown, mayor of the city of Lufkin. Trent Ashby, state representative. Robert Schenkel, Lufkin City Council, Ward 2. Miss LaTanya Goffney, superintendent of Lufkin Independent School District. Let's give those folks a round of applause. Some information that I would like to share with this group before we start the program. CHI St. Luke's Health Memorial is committed to increasing the number of survivors through earlier detection, better treatment options, and access to cancer care. We are pleased to offer our continued support for this event, as Sid said, to raise money for indigent cancer patients so they can make transportation arrangements up to our treatment centers. We provide more than 12,000 mammograms in our imaging centers every single year. For the past 20 years, we have participated in a joint state-federal program that has served Lufkin and Livingston and San Augustine, where our facilities are. In our 8 service area counties, low-income women can receive free breast and cervical cancer screening through the Texas Breast and Cervical Cancer Screening Grant. If abnormal results are found, the BCCS grant pays for required diagnostic testing, including breast and cervical procedures. If the biopsy confirms a cancer diagnosis, these women are placed on Medicaid, which fully covers their treatment and services for care. Last year, CHI St. Luke's invested $4.3 million in a new linear accelerator and CT scanner that helps improve the planning for radiation therapy treatments. Our new Electra linear accelerator delivers precise radiation therapy to our cancer patients. It is now my honor and pleasure to welcome Lufkin Mayor Bob Brown to the stage for a special presentation.
I have a proclamation from the city of Lufkin, but bottom line, October the 15th, 2015 is Power of Pink Lunch in Lufkin. And with that, I want to take a moment of personal privilege and give you a little history. First of all, I'd like to thank Alan and Kathy, David and Kelly, and Brian and Amanda Moore for keeping the Moore legacy moving forward. Thank you for your sponsorship. The Raymond Moore family is very special. Second of all, I would like, having gone through 3 years of doing this, to thank CHI St. Luke's for continuing something they didn't have to do. They came in, purchased this hospital, and have become a great corporate citizen in the city of Lufkin. And Sean, we appreciate you.
All right, we're going to turn this back over to Dr. Roberts.
Today, you are helping to fulfill the mission of a group of women who started Power of Pink, as Bob alluded to, following the death of their beloved friend, Jan Moore. And some of you may know the story, but for those of you who don't, I'd like to remind you or share with you how Power of Pink began. Jan Moore was a beloved member of our community. In 1993, she passed away from breast cancer, and her death brought to life the importance of breast cancer education, knowing the signs and symptoms and understanding the importance of annual mammograms and routine self-exams. Talking about the significance of breast cancer awareness over a brown bag lunch in the hospital in a small meeting room, Jan's friends started the Jan Moore Memorial Lecture on breast cancer, which has subsequently blossomed into Power of Pink. Today, the luncheon has grown to a capacity crowd of over 800 here in Lufkin, and this year was the fourth annual Power of Pink in Livingston. They had 400 women there on Tuesday. And this event is considered truly one of the largest breast cancer awareness events in the entire region. And at this time, I'd just like to take a moment personally to recognize and honor Barbara Polk, Tony Brown, Nancy Moore, Mary Martha Henderson, four of the women who helped create Power of Pink 22 years ago. This is the 23rd annual, and remain very instrumental in our luncheon's ongoing success. So, ladies, thank you so much. And as Mayor Brown said, we are delighted and truly deeply humbled to have the continued support of the Jan Moore family. For the last 23 years, you guys have been center stage and instrumental in the success of this luncheon. And David and Kelly, Kimberly, tomorrow is going to be a birthday, my understanding is. Alan and Kathy, the whole Moore family, thank you guys very much for your continued support. Every woman needs to know the facts, and the fact is, when it comes to breast cancer, every woman is at risk. With more than 3 million women battling breast cancer today, everywhere you turn, there is a mother, daughter, sister, friend who has been affected by this disease. The good news is breast cancer is being detected at an earlier, more treatable stage these days, largely because women are getting screening mammograms, doing breast self-exams, and taking ownership of their lives. When Sean mentions that 12,000 women are getting mammograms in our facilities, that is a remarkable number, and that goes to show what the overall population is that we are reaching with mammograms today. The BCCC program he talked about, where women who are diagnosed with breast and cervical cancer through that program are then put on Medicaid and have access to treatment. So it's not just that they get diagnosed, but they get the follow-through as well. That's just remarkable. So we have a special video presentation today, and I want to introduce you to breast cancer survivors in our community who share their journey of hope and healing while providing life-saving advice.
like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion, like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. And all those things I didn't say were wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. Losing friends and I'm chasing sleep. Everybody's worried about me. In too deep. Say I'm in too deep. And it's been 2 years, I miss my home, but there's a fire burning in my bones. Still believe, yeah, I still believe. And all those things I didn't say were wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. No, I've still got a lot of fight left in me.
At this time, please join me in welcoming these courageous women. For those of you who participated in this video, please stand so that we may recognize you. Thank you for helping us spread the message of hope and encouragement. The sad reality is that 1 out of every 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer at some time in their lifetime. At this time, if you are a breast cancer survivor or if you're battling breast cancer, would you please stand? Now think about this. 1 out of every 2 people will be diagnosed with some type of cancer at some point in their life. If you are a cancer survivor, any cancer, please stand so that we can recognize you. I see faces out there, some who are brand new cancer survivors and some who have been survivors for many decades. So battling breast cancer takes a lot of, shall we say, support. So today we are honored to have the support of a few familiar faces who are here to lift your spirits with their style, beauty, and grace. What time is it, ladies? It's time for the art bras. So for the last 6 years, Memorial and Abelt's Pharmacy have sponsored an art bra contest. This tradition began when a woman who lost her mother to breast cancer came across some buttons that her mother had collected. Instead of giving them away, she decided to decorate a bra with these personal mementos. Today, the bras are adorned with more than buttons. From rhinestones and fringe to feathers and lights, we've had some very creative entries this year. So without further ado, let's give it up for this year's art bra models. And please welcome members of the local media this year. All right, first, Livingston first place. It's one of the most popular games on social media. Where's our music? And now, Candy Crush is making a hit on the Power of Pink stage. This Livingston Running Club entry created by Livingston Running Club, made out of real candy, M&Ms, Jolly Ranchers, taffy, and colorful jelly beans, make this bra good enough to eat. Modeling is KTRE Chief Meteorologist Brad Lozak. Oh, got to get the selfie there, Brad. This entry was created in honor of Kelly Larson. Let's give it up for Brad. Like I said, good enough to eat. Hands down, our next model is reminding us of the importance of monthly self-exams. Modeling our third place entry, Peekaboo, We Feel You, is none other than Kick's personality, Mr. Sean Erickson. This hot pink bra is playing peekaboo with its large hands slightly covering large eyes with long eyelashes. The straps are made of an array of pink feathers with rhinestones around the bodice. Oh yeah, there we go. The entry was created by Lufkin Southland Rehabilitation and Healthcare in honor of resident Rachel Rollinson. Give it up for Sean, thank you. Get out your cameras because this next model is front page news. Sporting our second place entry is Lufkin Daily News editor Andy Adams. Andy is showing his spirit modeling this bra, which is called Hey Cancer, Keep Your Paws Off. This bra is the mum of all mums. It is adorned with purple and gold streamers and gold trim. The focal point of this bra, however, is the Black Panther. You gotta come here. So, Hey Cancer, Keep Your Paws Off was created by Sandra Wilson and Shirley Mirren with the Joe W. Elliott House. Thank you, Andy. Our first place bra, Life's a Beach, Get Your Coconuts Checked, is being modeled. Love it. Where are the cameras when we need it? Modeled by Danny Merrill with Town Square Media and Kicks. Danny loves the beach and was excited to learn that he got the honors of modeling this fun beach-inspired bra. This bra actually depicts a hot pink flamingo. Notice the legs that hang so elegantly below the bra. Starfish, seashells, and tiny ornate sunglasses and sea urchins cover the bra. And of course, what's a bra if it didn't have hot pink feathers? This Coconuts bra was created by Mandy Hamilton with A. Piney Woods Home Health in honor of Mandy's moms, Charlotte Dixon and Jackie Lowry. Give it up for Danny Merrill. Be a Superhero. Get a Mammogram is this year's People's Choice Award. We didn't have to look beyond Cotton Square in Lufkin to find our radio superhero, Mr. Mike Koenig with Smith & Koenig Radio. The Dark Knight themed bra is complete with a black cape and gold trim. And of course, this bra wouldn't be complete without the iconic Batman logo and gold fringe. This superhero bra was created by Sherry Hill. Thank you, Mike. Now let's get all our models back for one final round of applause. And let's thank all of our media partners for their wonderful promotion of this event. You can see all the entries displayed in the lobby or go online at www.chistluxhealthmemorial.org. Or the bras will be on display at CHI in Lufkin for the next week. Thank you guys very much. Well, that gets everything really lively again, doesn't it? It's now my pleasure to introduce you to our featured speakers. For more than 15 years ago, at the age of 34, Heidi Marble heard the words, "You have cancer." She was given a 1 in 1,000 chance of survival. It seemed her life would be cut short by the virulent, rare cancer raging inside her body. Incredibly, she survived for her son, her husband, and herself. Since that time, Heidi has been on a mission to spread hope. Years ago, Heidi sought her birth family to find out more about her health history. What she did not know is that she would find a sister, Jen, a sister who was also diagnosed with breast cancer. You see, they both carry the BRCA2 breast cancer gene, which puts them and possibly their children at very high risk of cancer. Despite the many challenges, they've discovered that speaking together is very powerful. And I think you're in for a treat today. Please welcome Heidi Marble and her sister Jen Kerfman.
Up and down that lonely road of faith, I have been there, unprepared for the storms and the tides that rise. I've realized one thing, how much I love you. To see you cry. I believe we can make it through the winds of change.
I love doing these shows because we get candy from the bras. It is so great to be back in Lufkin. Some of you probably remember my story from the first time, but there's a lot more to the story because I brought my sister along with me. I want to thank Lindsay Mott and your community for having us here today. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so I'm sorry if I sound froggy.
You sound good.
I sound okay?
Yeah.
You can still hear me. You can hear me through anything. I have to tell you a really funny story, though. We're staying at the Courtyard Marriott.
Yes.
And yesterday, well, you should tell them. You really need to tell them.
The story?
Yeah, of you driving. What
Well,
happened?
We left the hotel, and I'm looking out, and I said, well, there's no signs that says one way here. There's no signs anywhere here. So I'm glad you're all from here. You probably know where you're going, but... So we pull out, and, you know, I said to Heidi, I think we're okay. And as traffic is heading towards us, we realize real quick we're on a one-way. So very calmly, I put the car in reverse. As she's screaming, wreck the car, go up on the curb, we're dying. And I said, put the four-ways on, which apparently nobody knows what four-ways are unless you're from the Northeast, but that's the blinker thingies. I
thought it was
four-ways.
a four-wheel drive
So,
thing, and I'm looking for it. What are four-ways? I don't know what that is.
Anyway, the two crazy blondes in this vehicle driving in reverse with the rest of the traffic till we get back to the hotel exit where I can, you know, then we were good. Now I know where I'm going here, but that was our little
so we're
story
leaving
from
tomorrow,
yesterday.
so you all should be safe.
Yes.
But thought you would appreciate a little behind the scenes. But Lufkin is so amazing. We've just had such a great time. So I will just go through the condensed version, which you might want to sit for.
Oh, I'm going to sit. You guys have no idea. Welcome to the Heidi Marble Show. In fact, you've been here. They don't know. They know this.
They need to be refreshed. They
Yes.
can, you know, they can really reboot their sympathy for me.
That's true.
So my story is a whole lot worse than hers. I lost a lot more. All the pity comes my way because my cancer experience was so much harder than hers. So we just need to lay down the groundwork really quickly.
And it was. You are right about that. I'll give you
Oh,
that.
good. She's admitting it now that we're at the end of our tour, finally. So I'll start with when I was in the womb, and don't worry, I'm 50. I'm not going to take you through every year. Pretty close. The adoption story is actually really fundamental. It's something you haven't heard from me when I came here before. I was relinquished for adoption when my birth mother was 17. And she was from Pennsylvania, and I was relinquished in Arizona. And I always wanted to know my history, always. And didn't really have the courage to do so until I had my own child. And then it became really profound. I had to find out more and know more about who I was, because we all have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I never really had the beginning. So I contacted the Supreme Court in Arizona. My adoption was open, thank goodness. And the investigation began. The intermediary found my birth mother. And on one fateful day, January 1st, 1999, the intermediary called me and said, listen, your birth mother would love to talk to you. I was like, whoa. Okay, I couldn't stand it. I had to call. So I called, and it was that phone call that changed my life in so many ways. First of all, my birth mother told me that she was just diagnosed with breast cancer. That was a big ouch. Then the second thing she told me is, you have a sister. And that was so cool because I only had a brother. Well, then she told me I had a brother, and I said, you can keep him out of it. I just want the sister part. So the urge to meet them was so overwhelming that my husband and I and my little baby at the time drove through a snowstorm. And the first time I saw Jen, I could not believe how much we looked alike. We had the same perfume, the same cookbooks, basically the same vehicles, and our men were kind of similar.
Yeah,
you didn't have a good one then, but I have a great man. But they did something similar for a living.
I went through quite a few.
Yeah, there's definitely some differences. There's some differences between us.
Yeah, big.
So for me, it was really life-changing to have a sister and to have this automatic connection. And then the natural evolution of, sadly, our cancer diagnosis. Mine was a year after I met my sister and birth family, and Jen's was 5 years after. And we'll get into the details where you can kind of see why you need to feel more sorry for me. But I'll let her tell you how wonderful it was to meet me.
Yes. Well, I found out that I had a brother or a sister when I was in middle school. And my brother and I came home from school one day, and my mom obviously felt that we were a good age that she could tell us this. And she told us the story that when she was 17 years old, she got pregnant. And 1965? Yeah, so it was her decision and Heidi's father's decision at the time that the best choice was to give the baby up for adoption. Luckily, my mom left that open. And, you know, when she was pregnant, she felt that she was pregnant with a boy. And everybody felt that she had a boy. And so she said, I really think you have a brother out there, and hopefully someday you'll get to meet him. And I'm like, really? Because it's the same thing with the brother. I had 3 by now. 3 brothers, no sisters, moms that didn't want to shop, so I was just over that. And so it was amazing. It was like New Year's Eve, and my mom called, and she said, you need to sit down. You have a sister, and she has been looking for us. And it did. It changed my life. And, you know, it's just been an incredible journey ever since, getting to know each other. And, you know, I was 33 years old at the time that I met my sister, so we've had a lot of catching up to do. And it was not long, what, a year? It was a year and a half afterwards that Heidi got her cancer. So this is where she's going to go into her cancer story and
you can sit back down again.
So I'm going to go back over here and take a little nap.
First of all, I need to go shopping and get a bigger pair of jeans, because when I open these things, it's going to be like popping a can of biscuits. We have been eating so much.
First of all, a little bit of a size difference between the two of us. Nothing worse than a skinny girl saying she needs to lose weight. I'm all about the biscuits, and I don't care. I don't care what pops.
You don't care what pops.
In fact, I want to go back to that little restaurant we had.
Oh, we are? We're going back there. All right, we need to stay focused. I'm so sorry. So the diagnosis was deadly, and it was terrible. I was actually in my closet bending down the first time I knew something was wrong, and I had pain in only one breast, which was highly unusual. And I went to the doctor and told them, and that was disregarded because I had a clean mammography 14 months earlier. And so I had that false assurance that I was okay, but my intuition told me something was wrong. And I think that is one of the biggest takeaways I would love for everyone to go away with, is I love doctors, Dr. Roberts, wherever you are, fantastic. You're so smart. I don't have that IQ, but I have intuition. And I think that your intuition, no matter how sophisticated the medical team is, if you don't listen to that voice, it will cost you dearly. So I went ahead and let it go, and maybe I didn't want to think anything was wrong. And I went to see several physicians for almost a year, until my breast was almost double the size and totally engulfed in cancer. And the day that I was diagnosed was a horrible day because my son was only 2.5. So I lost both breasts, and no, I did not reconstruct because I don't want to be in any more pain. So I have prosthetics, which we've had a lot of drama with on this trip because I can never find them.
No.
So we've devised this, we think a car alarm system for them would be ideal, you know, in the hotel room, whoop, 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 whoop. And then she wants to add the blinking lights, and like, well, that could be interesting.
4 ways.
4 ways.
4
yes.
ways.
So this is what the $500 prosthetic looks like. How many boots can you buy for $500? So you definitely don't want to lose these things. And, you know, sadly, my son will be talking about these in therapy one day. Probably one of the most powerful things that happened to me, and I do believe I told this story, but I think it's really important to tell it again, is when I had my double mastectomy the night before, my counselor had said, you need to say goodbye to this part. They found you, by the way.
Well, let me hurry up and tell my story. I gotta go.
Wait till we're done before you cuff her. Geez, trying to get the dramatic moment in.
I haven't caused
Can't
that.
do it.
I haven't caused too much trouble in Texas.
No, you're
Texas.
good. You're good.
I haven't been drinking. Don't worry.
So they told me to honor that part of my body before I had to let it go. And I thought, well, how am I going to honor this? Well, it wasn't that difficult because I thought about it. I'm like, you know, these things had superpowers because I landed my husband. I looked really great in a bikini back in my 20s. And they were really miraculous because I remember praying to God and doing those things up against the wall. Please, God, please, just anything. And so they had then become the enemy. And I knew that they had to go. And so, as strange as it sounds, I could not wait to have them removed because I knew that was my best chance at surviving. So the next morning, I had my breast removed. I was at my lowest point. I was 30 pounds thinner than I am now, completely bald, worn down from chemotherapy. And I was waiting for the surgeon to take off the bandages. And I asked to be alone with her, which was really important for me. I didn't want my husband to be there. I needed to acclimate to what I was going to see. And I still remember just putting my head back and feeling the air, knowing that my chest was exposed. And she literally held my hand and put her cheek on mine, and she said, I am with you. And I looked down, and at first, it takes your breath away, because, not to brag, but I had some very natural large breasts. And it was like, whoa, they're gone. But it was incredible, and I would show you, but I don't want to traumatize you. It's one line. She was brilliant. The surgery was one perfect line across my chest. And she said, I want you to look at something, Heidi. And I'm like, well, what's there to look at? You took it all. She said, you'll be able to see your heartbeat for the rest of your life because there's nothing there except a little bit of rib. And I could see my heart. It was so life-affirming. And she said, well, now you can give heart hugs. I'm like, that's so cool. So my poor son, like, when I have my prosthetics off, let me give you a heart hug. Look, you can feel my heart. Feel it. It's like, wow. The poor child, and I have a book without my shirt on. He's like, could you at least the next book have your shirt on? I said, I'll consider it. But that was just such a powerful moment to see the love and compassion that the surgeons and the doctors have and how committed they are to helping us get through these very difficult things. you know, I do have issues with the fashion. I think we all do. But more than that, sorry, squeaking here. More than that, the day I was leaving for the hospital, this sweet lady came in with what I call a goodie bag. And she said, well, you know, honey, you don't want any weight on your chest because of the surgery, so we have these really awesome padded breasts that you can wear out of the hospital so you feel normal. But I'm so sorry, I'm out of B's. I only have D's. So I just want you to take a moment and imagine 2 of these. Does this look like a breast to you? I'm not opposed to a D, but at least look like a breast. So I was trying to be considerate, but I thought, geez. But you know, it actually comes in handy for removing makeup, and it's a good pillow. So I've become kind of fond of it. It's fine. But the long and short of it is, and I always round up here, an 18-month to death diagnosis. And I will be going on 16 years in April. I'm adding my hair. I'm 5 feet 8 above. I'm not 6 feet under. So I'm just really, really happy to be here. Even though I'm well on my way to an involuntary sex change, but we'll talk about that later. I'm going to let my sister tell you her story about how she was diagnosed and how she coped.
Well, our stories are very, very different. I did not have health insurance at the time. Grew up knowing all about breast cancer. My grandmother had it and passed away from it. My mother had it. So breast cancer didn't scare me. The word breast cancer didn't scare me. And, but not having health insurance, that scared me. So it had been 5 years since I went and had a mammogram. And I'm a hairstylist, and I was doing one of my clients one day, and it was October, and she said to me, when was the last time you had a mammogram? And I kind of put my head down because she knew my history. And I said, it's been 5 years. And she said, oh my gosh, you know, you've got to go. You have to have a mammogram. And I said, Nancy, I can't afford it. I don't have health insurance. I had 2 young children. I was a single mom. And, you know, when you're a hairstylist, there's not a lot of perks except your clients, and you know, but there's not benefits, there's no vacation. So, and with 2 young children, I didn't have the extra income every month to pay for health insurance. So anyway, she got to me, and my birthday is November 11th. So she, as a birthday gift to myself, I made that appointment for the mammogram. And mammograms did not scare me. Went and had the mammogram, got the results back from the mammogram, and they saw a little spot they didn't like the looks of and said, you know, we need you to come back for a biopsy. Well, biopsies didn't scare me either. My first biopsy, I was 17 years old. I had probably about 5 biopsies after that, and they were all benign. So biopsy did not scare me either. So went and had the biopsy, no big deal. And was at work. I did not, you at least got a little bit of a date from your doctor, you know, had you at least come in and talk to you. I had a phone call when I was standing at the salon by myself with a client, luckily, but the girl that I work with was out of town, and the doctor said to me, I'm sorry to tell you, but your results are back and you have breast cancer. And I had an appointment scheduled the next day, and you know, in case you needed it, and I said, wow, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow at 2. Went back to coloring hair. Told my client that I had just been diagnosed with breast cancer, and she broke down crying. I had to console her. I said, it's okay. I got this. Everybody gets breast cancer in my family. Be fine. I'm going to go to the doctor and take care of this. And that's pretty much how I dealt with it. I didn't cry. I didn't cry in front of my children, except the morning I had to go for the surgery, and it's just because I was afraid of the needles and the anesthesia, not the cancer they were going to go in and get. I was blessed. It was the size of a tip of an eraser. They got it out. I had 7.5, 8 weeks of radiation and worked through it all. And I'm happy to say that that was 2006, and things have been fantastic health-wise ever since. So my story, thank you. So my story is so much different, than Heidi's in that sense. However, I do have to come up with something to be along for this ride. So I said to her, well, you need to know what happened when I went for this lumpectomy. So I go to the breast cancer center at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is situated in front of the hospital, to go in for my needle-guided lumpectomy that they were going to perform at the time, and I didn't know any of that. And it's 7 in the morning, and they tell you after midnight you're not allowed to eat. Why? That already made me mad. I'm a big German girl that likes to eat. Don't tell me I can't even eat in an hour from now. I'm going to want to eat. So I wake up angry. I can't eat. I can't have coffee. I can't have vodka either, so, and it's early. And then I go in to find out that they're about to put a needle in my breast that nobody told me about. And I am scared to death of needles. Now, you can't see it, but I have a full sleeve tattoo on my arm. Apparently, I don't mind if you scratch me with needles for very long periods of time. But I don't want you sticking one in me. I don't want to be pierced. So they put the needle in, and I don't want to look down, but you're kind of curious. So you look down, and I see it sticking out. And it's sticking out a lot. I mean, it feels like it was sticking out to, the wall over there. And I said, oh my gosh, how long is this? And when, and she said, it's okay, I'm going to protect it. I'm going to protect it for you. Okay. So you're going to protect it. So I'm there with my gown, and she comes at me with Dixie cup and duct tape. And this is the real deal. So this is how we protect my needle-guided lumpectomy that I'm about to go have. And the duct tape was silver. It wasn't this pretty at all. This was it. And I'm mortified. Because, first of all, my gown was much shorter. It was pink, I'll give them that. But my dad and my stepmom are waiting for me because they're going to be with me through this process. And I'm mortified thinking, oh, my dad has to drive me up to the hospital because they're different buildings. And it's bad enough he sees me through all this, but he's going to see this. And she said, oh, no. Your parents can meet you up there. We have a driver for you. Well, then I kind of perk up a little. That's right, I got a driver. I have a driver, I'm dressed for the event, it's all good. So I get there, go out, well, I swear it was a back door. And the door opens, and I look out there, and I'm thinking, well, I don't see any limos, or where's this driver? And there is a maintenance van. And there's shovels and electrical cords, and I'm not making this up. I am not making this up. I live in a very small town. I'm hoping that things have come far from then. And I looked out there and thought, you've got to be kidding me. So I hop in the van with him, and I'm thinking, is there anything we need to do along the way? You need to trim a bush, or, I mean, he's the parking attendant. He's scrubbing the floors. This guy's doing everything at the hospital, and he drops me off at the front door. So I'm going in with everybody else. If you're getting blood work, or if you're going to go see grandma on the 4th floor that had a heart attack, I'm walking right in there with you. Good morning. Good morning. This is breast cancer. Yes, it is. Yes. What they didn't do is give me a Dixie cup for this breast, because this breast is greeting everybody. It's like, good morning. Forget the Dixie cup side. This one is cold, and it's angry, and it's like, what? I'm like, I know, I don't know what to tell you. Your sister has a problem. So anyway, that was my horror story. I made it through, luckily, but that true story. And so I don't know if they're still doing this very technical. I mean, I remember one time we did a talk and they said they still do that, but
wow, that's
so
really...
that's why really, I mean, yeah, she had inflammatory breast cancer and she almost died. Wow. You know what I went through. Yes, just saying.
Well, you get through the cancer and you think, oh, shoot, we're alive, everything's good. Well, get on the phone with the birth mom again. Guess what? Got more news for you. Oh, what? We have the BRCA2 gene. And I'm like, well, I don't have it. I don't have any breasts. I'm in denial. She said, I think you might want to go to your doctor because you probably have the gene. No. So anyway, I have the BRCA2 gene. And what they recommend is for, well, at least they did. I already had my breasts removed, but that was one of the recommendations. And of course, the other scary part when you have BRCA2 is your risk for ovarian cancer is just huge. So they wanted to give me a hysterectomy, and I always spell it H-I-S-S, like hysterectomy. So I decided I better do this because I went through all this to die from that. I don't think so. I'm already halfway to a sex change. Let's just go all the way. Why not? And I was very scared about the surgery. I thought, oh, it's going to be terrible. And I got through it like nobody's business. The next day I'm eating, I'm walking around. I had a really easy time. And so I told my sister, I said, you absolutely have to do this because it's not that hard. You'll be okay, and it might remove her attitude. I don't, didn't seem to.
Didn't work.
No. So her experience was much different, and also her choices for not having both breasts removed. We were talking to Dr. Roberts earlier, and he said that's an important thing to talk about because there are different ideas about that. And I'll let Jen tell you her hysterectomy experience and her reason for keeping her cha-chas or tatas or whatever you want to call them.
Well, yes, found out that that I had the gene, although when I was going through, the nurse was asking you the 1,000 questions that she wants to know. You know, we're both looking at each other like, isn't this pretty given? Do we even have to send it away? I'm pretty sure. But finding that out, I went to a doctor that immediately recommended that I got a hysterectomy and a double mastectomy. Period. Done. Okay. I didn't go for a second choice or for a second opinion. I chose a different doctor based on a plastic surgeon because I thought, well, you know, unlike Heidi and my mom, who were completely comfortable with not having breasts, you know, not much got to me except if you told me I was going to lose my hair or the thought that they were going to remove my breasts. That was a big deal for me. Not a lot bothers me, but, you know, I guess I'm more vain than you. That bothered me. So I wanted to make sure that I had a good plastic surgeon to do this. So when I went to meet with the second doctor to talk to him about this, he said to me, before you go see this other doctor, I want you to know that there's two choices that you have. And he said, and it's your choice and it's your decision. And neither one is wrong or right. So that surprised me because I didn't think I had a choice. I thought this was it. I had to do this. So when I met with him and he explained to me that if I had the hysterectomy and removed the fuel that fueled my cancer, the hormones, and went on tamoxifen, that it would reduce my risk down. And this is terrible, I don't remember exactly, so don't Google this, it's probably wrong. It would reduce my risk down to maybe 10% of having breast cancer. And that's if I chose to keep them, to keep my breasts. I could do the double mastectomy, but I could keep my breasts, have the hysterectomy, go on, the tamoxifen, and whichever one that I decided. And if I had the double mastectomy, you're still at a risk for breast cancer if you have a double mastectomy. They can't take it all. Even the best of them cannot take it all. Does it reduce your risk way, way down to probably it's never going to happen again? I would say yes. And if that's what works best for you, then that's definitely the road you should go on. For me at the time, it was about a 5% difference. And I was 40 years old, and it was the one thing that was still looking pretty good on me. I wanted to hang on to them for a little while longer. So I chose to keep them. And that was 2006. And like I said, luckily I haven't had any problems, since then. I did go in to have the hysterectomy, which should have been, so easy. And it was. The hysterectomy was very easy. Coming out of it, however, my heart had a little issue and ended up landing me in intensive care. But I really feel like I did that on purpose because the rooms up there were amazing. I had my own nurse. I didn't like having the whole catheter thing. Didn't want to wake up to the catheter. That completely freaked me out. And my husband, because I wouldn't wiggle my toes or move my legs or let him even get close to me until we were out of there. But they don't tell you, the doctors tell you this needs to happen, and you've got to have that hysterectomy, okay? And you're listening, and so you go in and you have the hysterectomy, and then you're sent away. And I'm like, all right, so I know the hot flashes are going to come, and I'm scared of the mood swings already because I know what it was like before the hysterectomy. I mean, my husband's ready to move out. He's like, oh no, what's coming? And so The one thing that they don't tell you, or that they might even try to deny, is that you won't gain weight. The doctors will say, you are not going to gain weight if you get a hysterectomy. You're not going to gain weight. I'm here to tell you, you're going to gain weight. It's coming. You're going to gain weight. You're going to gain weight because you're going to eat, because it gives you comfort. The food gives you comfort. And you're going to eat because you're depressed. You are depressed. Now get ready for this. This is very emotional. Because you are going to realize that you never, ever want to have sex again.
Never.
I'm 40 years old, and I realize I never want to have sex again. And my husband's looking at me 1, 2, 3 years later going, oh, geez, do you think you're ever going to want to have sex again? And I'm like, I don't know, but if it makes you feel any better, I don't want to have sex with anyone else either. You know, they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that's all gone. I'm like, okay, you went in there and you removed all of that, but what else did you take out? And the memory loss and the hot flashes and everything that goes along with that. But in all seriousness, that, you know, for us, that was the choice that we needed to make. And, you know, I have no regrets, and I'm glad that I did. And God forbid, down the road, you know, I would get a recurring cancer, then obviously at that point I would feel probably a lot different about a double mastectomy. But knock on wood, I still get to keep them, so I've got a little something.
Well, and now we need to talk about the very serious issue of mortality, which I am way more concerned with than you are.
Oh, yeah.
When I found out that I was going to die, I became obsessed with my funeral. I could see it, the casket with jewelry all over it, a dove release, or no, butterflies, music, creme brulee, all the things that I love. You know, my son and husband just lovingly poring over how fabulous I was. So I'm telling my sister of my elaborate plans, and you better make sure this happens this way if I die. And we're going through the rolling hills of Pennsylvania. She just looks over at me. She goes, oh, for goodness sake, I am just going to be cremated and mixed with glitter. And I was like,
that's what's happening.
Don't worry, no one's in here.
She says no one's in there, but you know, our mom did pass away.
Our mom did. Are you in there, Marty? So we already have the glitter prepared. So not only do I want my ashes mixed with glitter, I have to take it to another level. I would like it sprinkled everywhere that I've lived, and also at my favorite places. So if you see glitter at Nordstrom, at Starbucks, I knew her. There she is. So it's a brilliant, brilliant plan. And also, just to tease my sister a little bit, I always tell her, this will be your urn and this will be mine. Little
yeah,
zinger.
Who's the mean sister now?
Yep.
Yeah, it's all right. Those skinny jeans are going to come back to bite you in the you-know-what soon.
Yeah, that's fine. But one thing we would like to set up as we conclude all of this is we want to talk to you about Marty Jo, my birth mother, who I was sort of afraid to get to know because I had my adopted family, and so it was this wrangle of guilt. But I'm so, so grateful that I got to know her and that she shared her history with me in such a loving and complete way. And her dying wish was for all of her girls, which included my sister's daughter, to go to New York City and spend 4 glorious days.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I need to.
Was I wrong?
No, that's right. But I just want to say this because I think it's important and I want everybody to know. My daughter does not have the BRCA2 gene. She's been tested and does not have it. So
that's huge.
That's big in our family.
Yes, she escaped it.
Yeah.
And luckily I have a son, so I know it still has other risks. We drove in a limo. We stayed in this fantastic hotel. We got to go on the stage of Mamma Mia, meet the actresses and actors. We just had literally the time of our lives. But one of the best gifts about that whole weekend was a professional film crew did an interview. And my husband and I worked on this all day, and it was incredibly emotional to try to break the interview down so it would capture who we were, who we are, in a way that you could see, and we wanted to honor Marty's life and her struggle. And it was a huge loss for me when she passed away a 1.5 years ago. But for my sister, it was a devastating loss because her life was intertwined so deeply with Marty's. And so I'd like for Jen to set up the clip. And then we'll show it to you and we'll say hi to you after.
Our mom passed away when she was 66. 4 times she fought breast cancer. This was the 4th, and it finally won. So it's really important, you know, what we do, and we make light of it, but it's important that, that we get to tell our story and hopefully to inspire everybody. She was a force to be reckoned with, and you'll see that in this video. So without dragging it on, you know, too much longer, there's a song, Wild Child, that Kenny Chesney released February 13th, 2015. Our mom passed away February 14th, 2014. So almost a year to the day exactly, this song came out. And I heard the words for the first time, and I thought, how in the world, Mother, did you get to Kenny Chesney before I did? But she did. So this song represents, if you listen to the words, exactly the kind of spirit that she had and the crazy, crazy soul that she was. And she truly was somebody that if you met, you'd never forget. And I'm blessed that she was our mom, and hope you enjoy the slideshow. And I hope that you enjoyed us here today, and want to thank Lufkin and all of you for just welcoming us into your community. And this has been an awesome trip for us in Texas, but especially in this area. We've really enjoyed getting to know everybody, and just we're blessed that we got to be here with everyone today. So thank you.
I just want to squeeze one more thing in. Can you all stand up for just a second? I said y'all.
You did. See, it's happening. 10 days. We're going to go home going, y'all.
This is how we get our standing ovation. Give it. Enjoy the video.
Yes, thank you.
Girls, you having a good time?
We are having a blast.
Yes. Hold on, I need 1 second. This is not a little fussy.
Okay.
It was funny. That was a good one.
I think we all tried to use humor with the breast cancer. I think that's just how we do it, because it's just been in our family, right?
I agree. If you don't have a sense of humor about this, it'll kill you.
Marty?
Yes.
So, given the scenario,
I was going to say, it's not working for you, Mom.
Yeah, I know.
We've been laughing for a lot of years, and it's not working. We got to come up with something else. Maybe it's time. Hey, maybe it's time to get serious.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not
About
too
what?
late. Well, I don't know. We've been laughing for years, and it's not working.
Oh, all right.
It's-
Well,
You know what, though?
let's get serious.
Okay, but you've been dealing with it for a long time, so yes,
Yes.
it has worked.
But I said
Yes.
we should have told people years ago she was dying. How about it? How about the attention and the drinks and the free lunches and
God,
dinners
we
we're
could have been
getting?
doing this every weekend.
She did. I remember, Frankie.
I am afraid
I'm afraid you're gonna live and people are gonna think we're lying.
What am I gonna do?
That'll be a hell of a thing. Yeah. Okay. Oh no. But we are putting glitter in your ashes. That's our
No, we
choice.
are not.
Mom,
I'm not
I am.
a glitter girl.
I am. Well, you created the glitter 1 and glitter 2. You're
I
getting
don't-
Who's one? Me. I was
getting-
born first.
Oh, yes.
I'm glitter one.
Yes.
Glitter one.
But you didn't get it from me.
You know, she got the thick hair. She's skinny. She did get the big boobs. I'm a little sick of it, like coming second.
Okay, but
She's
I
first
lost
with
the boobs.
everything. Well, good. You deserve to. You got everything else.
So mean.
Yeah, but you can pick a size now. Look, you can pick any size you want. You can put them wherever you want. So
That's right.
you still look good. Nobody knows.
I know.
Yeah. So the story is so sad. And, we're losing someone so special. Her spirit is just like no one else's that I've ever met. And Mom, when you meet Mom, you will never forget her.
Keeps my heart and her hair a mess.
That's pretty much it. I just want to be remembered for being me.
Where the wind suggests she goes, who knows? Got a spirit that can't be tamed. She's a calico pony on an open plain. I know I'll never be the same no more, for sure. She's a wild child, got a rebel soul and a whole lot of gypsy wild style. She can't be tied down before a while. drives me wild, child. Never heard of her favorite band unless you've been to Bonnaroo or Burning Man. She's Penny Lane in a Chevy van. She loves to love, and she loves me wild, child. Got a rebel soul and a whole lot of...
What I love so much about their story is that it points out the importance of education. It points out the importance of individual choices as well. Their stories are similar, but they're completely different. And I think anyone here who's battled breast cancer or any type of cancer can tell you the same thing. Their story is theirs, and it's unique, but it based in education, knowing the facts, knowing what your options are. So it's a great, great story. They will be in the back signing books, $18 in the lobby, or if you just want to go by and say hi and give them a hug, that'd be great. So throughout our luncheon, we've recognized our wonderful sponsors. Power of Pink would not have been possible without their support. Once again, shout out to Sally Alvis and Brookshire Brothers. Thank you guys so much for what you do, not only for Power of Pink, but in the community as well. From the pink shopping bags, table settings, door prizes, raffle prizes, so much. And let's just give all of our sponsors a round of applause. Rosemary Swetland Berry had to leave for another appointment, but each year Rosemary, for probably 10 or 11 years now, she has played the piano for us, and she loves doing it, and we love having her. So thank you to Rosemary, even though she's not here to hear the applause. If you're one of the Power Pink volunteers, stand or raise your hand. There were so many people that helped put all this together. You can imagine setting tables and decorations for 800. So I want to thank them. Susie Caraway with Aileen's Florist and Sammy Montez for the beautiful centerpieces in the lobby and the stage decorations. The City of Lufkin and Channel KLTX, Sid Munlin and Randy Cadwell for their work in creating this video presentation. You may not be aware, but their video presentations are recognized nationally. Last year, the video that they produced was selected as the gold winner by Marketing Healthcare Today magazine. These are incredible videos, and Randy and Sid and those guys, thank you so much for that. And you can go to cityoflufkin.com or Channel 15, and they've filmed this event as well. The beautiful Kendra Scott-inspired necklaces in your gift bags. A special thanks to Daryl Beard and Beard Fine Jewelers for helping provide these gifts this year. And remind you that digital mammograms are available at all the CHI St. Luke's Health Memorial facilities. We've made it easy for you to schedule an appointment. Just visit the booth in the lobby, and they will get you set up. Lufkin, Livingston, or St. Augustine.
No, I've still got a lot of fire left in me.